Hi BookTube, it's Stephanie. Let's talk about all the books that I read in March. So I felt like I had a great reading month in March. I finished quite a lot of books and graphic novels and things like that. I think I finished 12 things, and of those, half of them, so 6 of them, were graphic novels or mangas. But I had so much fun. So let's start with one that has been on my pile of shame for ages, and that is Death Note Black Edition Volume 3 that contains Volumes 5 and 6. Now, I read Volume 5 last summer for a readathon, and then I just never continued on. So there's that. But I have continued it on now, and I really enjoy this, and I have no idea where this will go, so I just need to buy the other volumes because yeah, I need to know what's going to happen. And this follows a guy named Light who finds a death note, and if you write a name in the death note, that person will die within 40 seconds, 20 seconds or 40 seconds of a heart attack, but you can pick specific dates or ways that person can die. If that way is not possible, then that person will just die of a heart attack. I'm really enjoying this series, and with this volume I'm now halfway through it. So I did not think this through. I just felt like I wanted to stand up. So yeah, whatever. We'll see what I can place here, because these mass market paperbacks are there's not a lot of room to place something there, but I can place things some other places. That was a sentence. Okay, the next one I finished was another one from, actually that one is from my TBR project. So is this one. This is Alltid Gift by Ulle Mattsson. So Everything is Poison, about lethal substances and their role in history, and it's basically what it is. Substances are taken up and how it was used, and about some famous cases, for instance when it comes to arsenic and things like that. I had a lot of fun with this, and several things are recognized, yeah, a lot of them are famous, like arsenic, lead, things like that, but also he has divided them up in categories such as hunting or for justice and things like that, and obviously murder. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this, but I do agree with some of the reviews on Goodreads. They are in Swedish because Swedish book, but they say that it wasn't completely they said that the structure of some of the chapters were more it wasn't coherent, the same, or in a repeating pattern. He switched it up a bit. I didn't particularly mind that, but I definitely can understand that it's oh, but I just want to read about this part. Oh, where in the chapter is this part? Because it's not in the same location everywhere. As I said, I did not mind it, but I can definitely see why someone would be. Then I finished a graphic novel, and that was Crumbs by Danny Sterling. I really like this. This is a cute paranormal kind of. It's a urban fantasy, or maybe one step more than urban fantasy, but it's a romance between these two people, and we have one person who, what exactly was that called? Okay, I just I needed to look into the story to. She is applying to become a person in this Grand Council to help prevent catastrophes or things like that. And he is a baker who wants to become a musician. Now, the thing with this council is that once you become a member, everyone who you used to know, so your parents, your siblings, they forget who you are. And that's kind of the thing, and then we have this romance. It has a tiny bit of that miscommunication prompt thingy. Part of it is both because none of them want to like disappoint the other. She also is a seer, and that also affects certain things. But I thought this was really sweet and I really enjoyed it. Next, I finished a duology of graphic novel, and that is Medical Boy, Volume 1 and Volume 2 by Tekao. In this, we are following Max, who is a trans boy that in his bloodline, like, well, before they've only been girls, but the eldest is this magical girl who protects the world against this evil who, ends up here. They want to protect so that said evil doesn't come to this world. And well, Max is not that thrilled about being transformed into a girl with frilly dresses. And I thought this was really nice. I really liked it. One thing I can say that bugged me. Now, Max is a trans man and is told to wear binders. But I can tell you this, there is no way that Max would have abs like that. Just saying. So things like that bug me, because then there's like this serious like need binders, dead naming, but abs like this? Yeah. A pet peeve, but I really enjoyed this story and I would highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun. Then I finished this one. This is Magi, den stora boken by Peter Berting. So this is about magic. And this one actually disappointed me a bit because I have another book by this author about dragons and I so prefer that one. That one had more like dragons like from literature and his take on what they look like and things like that. In this one, it's some things are explained, but in mostly they are like this one from Narnia. It's just it is short about magic, like in here we have some ceremonial magic, but and then they are accompanied by these pictures from like Harry Potter and things like that. But it just, I have books that are more meatier, that's about magic like in general, and I expected this to be a little bit more like that one, in which like famous wizard and wizards from or creatures for that matter from books, and then I was kind of expecting a little bit more like that one, but with magical creatures. But technically, like, the title doesn't lie, it says just magic. But yeah, I still love the artwork, but yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with this one. I think that's the only book that can be there. And then, because I forgot to look at, it did not survive standing there. And then, since I forgot to look at my notes, after Crumbs, I finished an arc, and that was The Great Big Demon Hunting Agency by Peter Oxley. I enjoyed this one. It takes place in like Victorian London, in which demons were let loose into the city, and has wreaked havoc. There are people higher up that just say that also that the demons are just urban legends, they don't exist there, while the people who live on the streets are like, yeah, they exist. And this, and we are following these two people who are opening up the Great Big Demon Hunting Agency. Now, this is definitely a build-up. Like, this is like the pilot episode to a series that builds up the characters, that builds up the world a bit, and gives you who the bad guys will be in the future, and like have the wealthy woman sidekick. I really enjoyed her, but that's it. You don't really get like a full-fledged... Well, there is a mystery in this one, but it's not as developed. I think it would have needed way more meat, but I still liked this way it was written, because as I said, this is like the pilot episode, and I do hope that there will be more books coming. And I did only give this like 3 stars. I actually gave it well, 3.5. I did give it 4 stars on Goodreads, because the last half were like the best part, but also because a lot of people like, I DNF'd it. And I was like, yeah, I completely get why they DNF'd it, because it does take about to that halfway point before it starts rolling, which, yeah, maybe a bit more build up in that way, but I liked it. And yeah, I will definitely look out for the next volume of that one. I did write a review since I got it from NetGalley. Then I finished Gargantus by Thomas Taylor. This is the sequel to Malamander, so this is an Area on Sea mystery. I don't think actually this series is called Area on Sea, but yeah, I really like this one. This follows Herbie, who is the lost and founder on the Nautilus, something like that, hotel, and his friend Violet, who we meet in the first book, who happened upon him and said, "Hi, you're lost and founder. I'm lost. Please find whoever I'm supposed to be with." And this one is the sequel to the first one. And in this one, it starts with there being a bunch of these bad storms, and it has been going on for ages. And the whole mystery about Gargantus. I really like this one. I can say, however, Violet infuriated me so much in this one. She kept on telling Herbie to be quiet, but she can't be quiet. Like, everything that goes wrong, it's her fault. And it's like, I'm crossing my fingers that I won't be as annoyed with her in the sequel, because I have bought all the books that are left in this series. But I'm really liking Area on Sea, and I like the whole Nautilus Hotel and things like that. But yeah, Violet, please, just please. Oh, and I also loved some of the other characters that we meet in this one, and also the entire part of how the town is like split into different factions, if you will, with the fishermen, which are the like, how to put it, the fishermen being their own like group in this one that they have to navigate around. I really like that one, that part. Then I finally picked up and finished, that time I got Reincarnated as a Slime, volume 20. Created by Fuse and manga by Taki Kawakami. I really enjoyed this one. This one has the aftermath of battles that took place, and some more politics, and someone trying to disrupt said politics. I don't want to say anything, because yeah, the next volume will be very interesting. And if we go back to the very first volume, we are following Rimuri, who in the first book dies when he saves a co-worker and gets re-uploaded as you wish, because that's my preferred genre when it comes to manga apparently, and he becomes a slime, the said slime on said cover here, and he accidentally becomes the Monster Nation's lord. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one, and I am really enjoying this entire series. I just need to get all the light novels as well, because I want all of the things. And then we have the last physical thing, and that is By the Grace of the Gods, Volume 5, story by Roy and art by Ran Ran. And did I mention this in my TBR for the month of April? Yes. Did I, after filming that, just basically decided that I wanted to read this? Also yes. It happens. So this just continue on his story. We are following, let's see here, Ryoma, who basically worked himself to death in our world, but in this world that he was transported to, he was washed over the gods of this world, and they have a problem in this world because our world has a lot of magic, but we don't use it because we don't have magical creatures and the people can't use magic. But in this world they do use the magic. However, it's not regenerating. It's not infinite. So they need to sometimes bring in a person from our world to theirs so that they can bring some magic with them. And yeah, Ryoma is the latest one, and he gets turned into a child and he lives his life, and then one day he gets found. The fact that he learns that he can rely on others, which he has never done since his mother died. And this is so heartwarming, this series, and I absolutely adore it, and I would recommend you trying it. Then I have 2 audiobooks. The first one being The Big Four by Agatha Christie. Now, this is a Hercule Poirot novel, you will understand why I hesitate soon, in which he is put against the Big Four: a Chinese, an American, a French woman, and an Englishman. The leader, the money, the scientist, and the murderer or hitman. And the reason why this is a weird novel is because this was apparently written as it was published increments, one chapter was in the magazine, so each chapter has an ending to it, but it doesn't because the mystery isn't solved. We haven't reached the end yet, and that felt really off for me. I definitely did not like it. The story, it felt, some reviews that I read said that it felt like Hercule Poirot was fighting against supervillains. Yeah, that's basically what it felt like. I did not really care for it that much. Yeah, it's not the biggest fan of this. And then the last thing that I needed to end it with to get a bingo on my r/fantasy TBR, the bingo board, was Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk. This takes place, I think it's the Roaring Twenties. I don't remember. But in it we are following a person who has been given the task of finding a vampire person. And she is basically counting down her days because 10 years earlier, almost 10 years earlier, she made a deal to save her brother in which she gave the demon her soul. But when you do that, you only have 10 years, then you will die. And the first part of this was very melancholic. I got so annoyed. It fits. She's counting down the days until she will die. Of course she's melancholic. That made sense. I really enjoyed the when she met her brother after said 10 years and things like that. And I did really like it, but the beginning felt a bit like a slog because I was oh, for crying out loud. I get it. It made perfect sense but it was so annoying. But yeah, I really liked it and I would recommend it, but I did like Witchmark by the same author way more. So those are the 12 things that I finished in March. What was your favorite book that you finished in March? For me, honestly, that depends. I love the fact that I finished, even though I knew the end, because I finished the Oslo Fantasy Bingo literally like 9 p.m. But I would say Gargantus. That was definitely my favorite, even though Violet irritates the crap out of me. That was still my favorite. So, I'll see you next time. Bye!